head down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk there with me. I know a place where we can be free. There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. And shadows and gloom are all that you see. We'll find a place where we can be free. From the mountain top down to the deepest valley, hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun shining in the darkest alley. Can't you see you will be free? I have been far, I have been wide, searching for peace, somewhere to hide. Now I am free, open and pure, fearless and babe, I am secure. There is no dark that can't be lit. We'll find a way if we just commit. We are one. There is no them and us. Together we're strong. Together we're free. From the mountain top down to the deepest valley, hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun shining in the darkest alley. Can't you see you will be free? Can't you see you will be free? You will be free.
Sit back, relax, and listen to your heart. Connect with its loving vibration. You're spending time with God at a beautiful, secluded campsite. God, nature, and this experience is all that you need. You are feeling loved, safe, and protected. You delight in your surroundings. It is night, and the peaks of the mountains turn a light shade of grey as the colours spread across the cosmic galaxy in a glittering haze. The trees, green by day, are now a green tinted charcoal. And it is the night that frolics and dances. The sky's colours are a multicoloured, cool rainbow of dusty pink, lavender and Aegean blue. A comet glides through the air, as if like a firework in the heavens. You absorb the panorama before you in its glittering triumph. Once you feel complete in having taken it all in, reconnect with your surroundings, the chair beneath you, or the bed that you lay on. Feel its surface and texture beneath you. And once you feel complete in this experience, gently open your eyes. Namaste.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Church of Union service. I am Christina.
And my name is Danny.
And today we are doing the card reading, and we are using the Whispers of Love deck by Angela Hartfield.
Very nice.
And we have pulled 3 cards, and with pulling these 3 cards, we feel there is a general message. And the general message is one of pursuing joy and choosing joy and happiness. And so with each card that we have, we will pull a different message on how that relates to choosing joy and choosing happiness.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So the first card is the Union of Hearts. A love connection defies explanation. And it's very sweet. This is a very twin flamey card. It's literally the card about union. And what I feel that this card is communicating is that in every moment of your journey, in every moment of your day, it's always about the union that you're experiencing in your life. It's not about the upset or about like maybe an upsetting situation. Like, it's just about the love. And it's about the union that you have with God.
It's about your choice.
Mm-hmm. You want to go deeper into that?
Yeah, like it feels like this card is communicating that we have a choice in every moment. We have the choice to choose union, or we have the choice to not choose union. The choice to choose God or not God, and peace or not peace. And yeah, feels like this is an encouraging card of obviously choosing union in every moment, choosing God,
and
choosing
your
peace.
twin flame, your harmonious union.
Yeah, so that's what I get from this first card. So what is the next card?
Yes. The next card is New Love. And it says, embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospects or for spiritual growth. And I feel like that relates perfectly to the last card, because it's communicating that every situation is like a new love. It's an opportunity for spiritual growth and for, like deeper peace and deeper union with God. And yeah, it's just really about like choosing to claim and choosing to embrace the opportunity. Like, we were rewatching the Romance in Sedona workshop. If you don't have it yet, you can go to twinflamesuniverse.com, Romance in Sedona workshop under products. Shameless plug. Anyways, and like Jeff says that like every block and every upset is an opportunity to be embraced, to choose love and to like clear that separation, because when you do, it brings you closer to God. It's that closeness to God. And like our life is just a constant invitation into new love, into deeper levels of love.
I love that. That feels complete to me. You said it all there.
Yeah, and I'll just show the picture again. It's just very inspiring and uplifting. It's like, looks like this beautiful angel, and it's a shooting star, and so it's just a very hopeful card, a very inspiring card. Like, whatever love that you are desiring, like claim it in your heart and take the steps toward to claim it into its manifestation, because dreams always come true.
And the last card.
The last card that we have is express love through gifts. A small token of love can convey great appreciation. And it's this beautiful mermaid couple. Very twin flamey as well. Lots of twin flame energy in this reading. And I feel like you have the first piece for this card.
Yeah, so what's coming up for me with this card is life is about, like, expressing your love is really expressing yourself, expressing your gifts. God created you for a purpose. God created you with a function. God created you with a gift to give, and love to give. And the way to joy, the way to happiness, the way to God is by giving your gift, by giving your love, by sharing your, by sharing your function, why you were created.
Yeah, this is what Deb and Paco's sermon was just about, like how fulfilling your function gives you joy. And yeah, it's true. Like,
Yeah, joy and happiness.
Joy and happiness
comes from performing your function.
Right? Because we're all created with a purpose, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just about asking God to give you the opportunity to give your gift, and knowing that you are always giving your gift to God.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Shaleia posted a meme the other day that was like, whatever is given to God is returned like thousandfold or something like that. And yeah, so like it's very fulfilling. Like everything that is given in love is always returned to you. Everything that you put out into the world, everything that you put out in your relationship is always returned to you. And that's in the form of your thoughts, it's in the way that you speak to others, it's what you do for others, it's in the gifts that you give. It always comes back to you. And so yeah, every gift that you give to others is also a gift to yourself.
Right.
And you're also expressing your appreciation to God, that you appreciate him by giving your gift to him, because it's always just about serving God. And having like that healthy reciprocal relationship, two-way relationship. And so yeah, I'll show the cards again. The Union of Hearts, choosing union in every moment. New love, allowing every obstacle, every challenge, every upset to be an opportunity to be closer to God. And giving your gift. Giving your gift to God, expressing your appreciation to God by loving him in return, and knowing that all of these things bring you happiness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel good and complete with this reading. How about you?
Good. Yeah, I do too.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of service.
Yes, enjoy the rest of Sunday service. Have a great day.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Everybody, I'm Granville Campbell, and it is my honor to introduce the sermon by Jose and Michaela today on the topic of persistence and how that guarantees your success. And so in watching the sermon, I think the thing that really stood out for me was just how freely Jose and Michaela share the components of their sermon and how well they fit together. And I feel like in sitting through the sermon and receiving the message, the thing that stands out for me about persistence is that it is the energy of carrying on or keeping going. And I like that they share how that energy is what takes you into your growth. It's what allows you to let go of the fear. It allows you to find and appreciate the lesson and find and appreciate your own divinity and truly get to know yourself and who you are, and being comfortable with releasing the things that you may not have realized are consistent patterns and not identifying with them, which is always a good place to be because it doesn't keep you stuck in the energy of ego as they share. And so I feel like it worked quite well in them also just sharing their experience of various classes with Jeff and Shaleia and how they've worked through those spaces in themselves to get past the challenges. And also to appreciate that the challenges are there to teach you something. And in that teaching, you find more truth. And that truth allows you the ability to continue going. And it's interesting because that energy of continuing going is what actually allows you to start trusting yourself. It allows you to realize, I healed through this, I can heal through that, and I can heal through that. And so it grows the sense of self-efficacy in that you start to truly see your capability. And I like that they shared that God doesn't do things for you, just in the way that your spiritual guru, Jeff and Shaleia, do not do things for you. They show you the path, they illuminate the path, they carry the pioneering energy, and in them doing that, they illuminate the path for you to follow on your ascension journey. So I like that because it kind of just settles the energy of it's okay to learn and to grow and to experience the challenges and even to appreciate those challenges because they take you into a deeper understanding and knowledge of yourself. And also the sense that I have from the sermon and from just experience is that it actually allows you to grow your confidence. It allows you to believe that you are capable. And that belief in your capability is the energy that sustains you, and it's the energy that fuels your persistence, which is in and of itself a motivating factor. So that motivation no longer comes from outside. It comes from healing within so that you can do what is required on the outside. And it's such a comfortable space to be in for the reason that things start to feel less insurmountable. And in saying that, I feel like as I heal a component and I look back, I realize that while it wasn't that great at the time, I overcame it. And so if I can overcome that, I can do the next piece, and I can do the next piece. And that is, for me, what symbolizes that energy of persistence, that energy that I can do this, and I have done this. And so even if a pattern comes back and repeats itself, I can go deeper there because I actually did it. And I hope that you take that message as well and allow it to just settle in and allow it to relax you and allow you to be more at ease on your journey. And I'd like to just invite you to sit back and receive what Michaela and Jose are sharing through their sermon and allow it to minister to you on your journey into deeper healing and into deeper trust with yourself and into deeper confidence in yourself. And so please feel free to just relax and enjoy the sermon, and I will see you at the end of Jose and Michaela's sermon.
Hi everyone, I'm Jose.
I'm Michaela.
And today we are here to bring you a Sunday sermon on persistence. And before getting started with it, we can start with the opening ohms and the opening prayers. So we invite you to om loud or in your head. opening prayer. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word.
Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation.
In Christ's name, Amen. So, let's get into it. So today we want to speak about persistence. This is one of the 8 keys to Harmonious Union by Shaleia's book. And we are going to speak about this because we saw that this is a topic coming up a lot, moving through challenges, moving through difficult times, periods of a lot of growth. So we want to share our experience, some advice maybe, to move through these times. So
we've noticed in the Twin Flames Universe open forum and just around Twin Flame community that the topic of persistence is coming up a lot, and seeing posts about people wanting to give up on their journey or feeling really challenged, and so we wanted to just share, just do like a little sermon on this topic and like talk about what is the dark night of the soul and how do you overcome that, and what is the purpose of that on our ascension journeys, and just offer comfort and encouragement and support just through this sermon, which I think is very nice, because there is a reason why persistence is one of the 8 fundamental keys to Harmonious Union, and it's because it's like essential.
it's basic.
Like if you don't have persistence, then you're not gonna
achieve anything in life.
Yeah, it's like if you get on an airplane or buy a plane ticket, but then you don't believe you're gonna get to your destination, and you jump off the plane, because fear tries to convince you of that. Fear will try to convince you that you've made this decision on the to ascend. You've made this a decision to have your harmonious union, to have your perfect union with God and your twin flame, and so that's your choice. And the moment you truly choose it, it's done, and everything is going to come up. All of the blocks, all of the upsets that are preventing you from that being your reality. And so, that's what challenges really are. And so the voice of fear will try to come in and convince you that, you should give up because, maybe the journey is causing you pain, or you are going, the thing you're going through, you can't overcome it. I feel like persistence is really about just not listening to that voice, of fear that tries to dissuade you from your journey. And not listening to that voice is what brings you success. I remember there's a Twin Flame Ascension School class where Jeff says if you literally just do the opposite of what ego or fear tells you to do, you'll be successful. So you might notice when you go through these really deeply challenging times, there's always that voice of fear there that's saying, oh, you can't make it through this.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. You're not good enough. You're this and that. You should feel bad. But it's not the truth. The voice in your head that tells you that that tells you bad things and feels bad is never right.
Yeah, so this is coming up a lot, and I guess the question is why to take the journey? This is a lot of people why all of these difficulties, why all of these challenges, and it is to get you to realize that you are strong, that you are a divine being, and you are being tested on it. You are being, God is showing you how to grow. I remember Jeff spoke about this in a Tifa's class, that the reason that God is not doing it for you is because you can be thinking that you can't do it and it's impossible, but God sees you as fully capable of it.
He sees you as divine.
Yeah, that's why He is not, getting in the way, because if not, He will be telling you, you can't.
You're weak.
You're
He'd be
weak.
calling you weak. And this is
Exactly.
why your spiritual guides like Jeff and Shaleia, as our gurus, like they are constantly telling us that they won't do it for us. Well, that's why. It's not because, you know, like I feel like there's just that voice of fear that's like, oh, I'm being abandoned, and it's usually due to like family related trauma, right? Like trauma with your parents and just stuff that needs healing. But the truth is, the reason why no one can do it for you is because you're fully capable. Like that's how God sees you, as a fully capable, fully empowered, living divine being with all of the power of creation. And so you can overcome any challenge. And if God, you know, if God enabled you in thinking that you're weak, like that would just, what would that do? Like it would just make you weak.
It's not a good father.
No.
The one that spoils you in that way. And I think this is, you know, something that all of us have in some way in our lives, you know, this enabling of something, and then we project that on God. We are expecting God to do that for us, or gurus, or other people, or our twin flame, or whoever.
Right.
But this is the reason that persistence is so important. It's only when you move through it that you discover that you are capable of it. That's the reason that you are being pushed to jump. This image came to me the other day of like you are like an eagle or something. You are like afraid or a bird.
Eagle?
Yeah.
Oh, like a bird.
Like a bird.
Okay.
Yeah. And God is pushing you out of the nest, like fly. You're like afraid.
And you know how to fly.
You know how to fly, but you're afraid. Maybe you haven't never done it before. But it's only when you take the jump, when you get into it, that you open your wings, and then you can fly, and then you can enjoy everything. If not, if God is, not babying you, you never know your potential.
Yeah,
you never know who you are.
Yeah, you like live in the nest all the time.
Exactly.
You have your mama bird feed you all the time. Like that's not really freedom. You know, like being babied is not freedom.
Exactly.
Freedom is being able to create your own reality. You know, and pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get yourself, flying. And yeah, like that's any true spiritual teaching, which of course this is Unionism. It's the ultimate spiritual teaching. Its purpose is to bring you to God, not make you dependent on another for your, for your healing or for your salvation. Like you're not, it's the purpose of challenges is to bring you to God. It's to test your strength. And we watched Jeff and Shaleia's video, The Dark Night of the Soul, the Twin Flame video on their YouTube channel. And I really enjoyed what Shaleia said, that the Dark Night of the Soul is like basically defined as like a really challenging time where you're being like, it's like a time, it's basically an ego death, right? Like it's like an ego death. So that's really what your challenges are. They're like an ego death, and they're meant to uplift you, and they're meant to show you your strength. Yeah,
exactly. And you do this by just facing it and going through it until the end, until you master the challenge. And there is where you find your strength, more faith, more love, more peace. And that is all that you want at the end of the day, is to have more God in your life. And this is something that Jeff told us in a class. We were doing an exercise on God, and we were asking if God loved us there. And God showed us where to improve, where our weaknesses were, so we could get closer to Him there. And this is how it works. You need to discover where you are not feeling divine, or powerful, or worth it, or strong, or whatever it is. And that is going to be, purified in you. And it's important to not be attached to it. Because in the spiritual journey, you need to be completely humble to God. And know that you don't know yourself. Maybe you have this thing about you that, I don't know, all your life, it must be true.
Like a bad thing?
Like a
block or something?
Yeah, like a block. And it's totally normal. It's your day to day. And then God comes and it's like, that's not. And you're like, oh my God. And you panic and it's uncomfortable, but it's not a part of you. You thought that, but it's not. And that is the reason that is uncomfortable. because it's not of God, it's not of you. And that is the reason that God is, helping you remove that, so you can actually experience the truth of who you are. And yeah, that requires humility to accept first, I don't know.
And maybe I went wrong here.
Yeah, I went wrong here. You need to recognize that, and then, okay, God, who I am here, or God,
show me the truth.
show me the truth here. But yeah, it's moving through every step of the way. It's not giving up in the middle of it, because you can be so close, and then you lose everything. It's only when you finish and love completely that you can transcend something, and this applies to every challenge in your life. It's only when you love it fully that it disappears in your life. If not, it's going to show up in another way, and you don't want that. You don't want pattern all over again in your life. Maybe not in this way, but in another one, and it's annoying, and it's not letting you move forward. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that something that Jeff has talked about in classes, like just one memory comes up is like, God's gonna bring down the hammer on you in your journey. Like you're gonna get tested, you're gonna get challenged, you're gonna have challenges, but you shouldn't be afraid of those challenges. And when God brings down the hammer, all you have to do is not get in the way of the hammer, between God and his hammer. Like don't resist the challenge in the word, and to know that like when you do go through these challenges, that you are not alone. Like you have God. Like God is not against you when you're in these challenges. God is literally rooting for you. And the ego is because, like this is a classic, PFAS 101, like the ego makes its last ditch effort to claw you into fear when it's really threatened. And that's basically what a dark night of the soul is, or what a really challenging time is it's an ego death. An ego really fights in those situations, but it's powerless. The only power it has is the power you give it. And so all you have to do is just not resist the healing, not resist what's being shown to you, not resist the new choices that are coming up to be made, and not resisting like this shaping that's happening to you.
Because it is only for your growth. And maybe sometimes what happens is you're being purified or something, and then when the hammer is coming, you try to control.
Or you resist it.
And you get in the way of, and you get like slammed with the hammer.
Or
it's uncomfortable.
Or you believe you are the ego. You believe you are the pattern or the bad feeling that's being called out, and you're not. You are the divine being. And part of this journey is learning what love is. And like we were talking about it, like a true teacher doesn't do it for you. Like God doesn't do it for you. And like maybe you're used to a society, probably all of us are, where people baby you. Where like love is actually just like not coddling you or coddling your ego and not wanting to trigger the ego. And so when you're on this journey of learning what unconditional love is, you have to unlearn all of that and undo what you've been taught love is. And that love is of the soul and not of the ego. And like ego's version of love is not love, but that's the version of love that's shared in society. And it's safe to unlearn that and like know that you are not the ego, you are not the fear that's being uprooted within your being. You're the divine, you're peace, you are love. And it's really important to, like I was reading one of Jeff's tweets earlier about how blame and guilt are just judgment. Like when you judge yourself and you hold on to blame and guilt, like that's just you. What did it say? Like that's just the ego's game. Like that's how it ropes you in. And your job, whenever you find a block, is non-attachment and to find unconditional love and compassion for yourself, so that you can make a new choice.
This is very important, because I guess everyone, when we are moving through, these difficult times, we tend to identify with it, or feel guilty about that, or guilty about our feelings, or attached to them. But it's important to remember what is happening and, look from a higher perspective what is going on in your life, so you can understand. And you can look back in your life and see these difficult times before, what happened, after that,
Mm-hmm.
because you were so scared and terrified, like in terror. Everything was going down, and you were afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But you look back, and it's like, oh, okay,
No,
I agree.
yeah, like not even that, but well, I mean that, but like it's not just you look back, and I personally see how beautiful those challenges are. You know, like you see the beauty in them.
Yeah.
Like the most challenging moments of my journey, I look back on them when I know, like in the moment,
Not
I
very
was
fun.
not having a good time and I was terrified. But now I look back and I only see like beauty there because I know what was going to come later. You know, like, so yeah, I feel like that's part of healing too. Like once you finally work through the challenge, you look back and you're like, oh, like I was so loved all along and taken care of. And that's why having persistence is so important, you know, because you can't always tell what's around the next corner.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know why this is coming up, other than you chose the ascension path and challenges arise in the ascension path. But yeah, like you're going to look back on this, whatever challenge you're going through, and you're going to be really grateful that you had persistence, because not only are you going to get stronger, but you're going to cultivate more joy and peace, and you're going to just feel so grateful for God and to your gurus and to the spiritual teaching of Unionism for for bringing you to this point.
Yeah.
And one more thing, and then we can go.
Oh, okay.
Okay. One more thing that I have here is that like you're not here as a unionist because you chose the easy, comfortable, slow pace. You're here as a unionist because you chose the awakening path, and that's Jeff and Shaleia as our gurus. Like they're here to awaken us. Jeff and Shaleia talk about this in classes, that they're here to, like Jeff talked about how his teaching style is shocking. It's to shock you, to make you feel like what's causing you pain, to really awaken you to that, to make a new choice. So I think it's really important that all of us here watching this you appreciate yourself for the type of student that you are, for choosing to be on this path and choosing to awaken really quickly, the fast track basically, and do this work. And to know that it's okay, like challenges are going to happen, and you don't have to listen to that voice of fear that tries to pull you off the path. That's not you, that's not God, and that's not your fear.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And this is what the Twin Flame journey is about. Even with your Twin Flame, it's going to be constantly awakening places in you, the uncomfortable places. And I think the reason that so many people get discouraged about the journey is because they don't see it to the end in a challenge. Because when you, even the smallest challenge, you go to the end with it, and then you discover the insight and the peace and the relief, and you're like, wow.
And the gift.
Yeah, and the gift. It's like, this is good. I will go for the next one. And you go for the next one, and there is another gift for you. And the more you do this, the less afraid you are to enter those places. Because you already know the process. You were afraid a lot of times before. All of them, this worked. So why not now? And this is something that I do a lot in my spiritual journey. It's like, God cannot be real there and not here. If God helped me with that, this is just another one. And the reason that this is scary is because it's new. It's not the block itself. It's that it's new to my awareness, and I don't know what is there. You maybe are afraid of the unknown or the change, but look back. All of the changes were good. So this one is also good. You can relax into the process and persist to the end. And the more you do this, the more you like it, the more you want to purify everything in your life, because everything is improving and everything is growing. You are growing stronger. You are growing in ways that you will never imagine before. And it's like, wow, this is what happens in this path.
Yeah.
And I want it.
Yeah, like Jeff and Shaleia talked about in Romance in Sedona, coming soon. That like it's psychologically challenging to heal, because you have to unlearn all of the illusions that you have about yourself and learn a new identity. And like the truth is that everything about you is perfect and good, you know,
Yeah.
and so you have to unlearn all of the stuff that says you're not. And that's something that Jeff said, like that can be very psychologically challenging. That's what we call an identity crisis.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you do learn, you know, like for me on my journey, I grew up one way, you know, taught to think that I'm not very, like I don't matter, you know, like they're like that, you know, I was just raised in an environment with people who don't choose their greatness, who choose to settle. And so that does, like, as a child, impact your self-esteem and impact the way you see yourself. And I remember Jeff and Shaleia in a live TFAS class, like, helped me with that one. And it just occurred to me again recently that, yeah, like, you are not that. You know, if you were taught growing up that you're anything but divine, then you unlearn that. And you can be open to miracles, you know, in yourself, like changing your self-perception. Because yeah, like the more that I've healed, the more that I've realized like I'm not those things. Like I choose my greatness. I choose to overcome these really deeply rooted fear blocks, you know, that your family can teach you. So yeah, like all that you when you look within yourself and you heal, and of course like you're gonna come across the things that don't feel good, but you're gonna ultimately find your own divinity. And it's okay to surrender to that. You know, it's okay to surrender that you are, you know, have positive expectations about what you're gonna find within yourself.
Yeah, and this is why it's important to persist and not give up, because we have been, who knows how much time with that pattern. So maybe it's very like, you know, entrenched in your mind and in your consciousness. So you need to go every layer that is presented to you. You go to it and you heal it. And it can keep coming up for weeks, months, the same energy. Keep moving through it. Keep removing it layer by layer until you find the core of it and you find relief. Knowing that once it's healed, it's forever. You will never deal with that again. So that's the best motivation. Once that thing is done, it's done. And I'm eternal. That block is not.
Right.
So it's like a blink of an eye, it's gone, and I can continue with my life. I can continue being happy, living my life normally, being with God, and I will never have that difficulty again. But the reason that I don't have it is because I transcended it, I healed through it,
Truly healed
it, and I persisted all the way until I had my victory. And if you don't have your victory yet, keep going. Keep pushing forward. That is the way. If you don't give up, how can you lose?
It's so true.
You always win. It doesn't matter if you don't get it right the first time. Okay, try again. You can see a lot of inventors trying hundreds of times. They never gave up. And after a lot of times, boom, nice invention. Like, life-changing for people because they never gave up.
Yeah, they followed that good feeling. Like the story of Jim in Life Purpose class. Like you go, yeah, like that's basically that class. Like you have to keep knocking on every open door, and when one shuts, move on. And you just follow that like good feeling in your heart and that dream to be with God, to be in your ascended state. Like keep pursuing that, and it doesn't matter what comes up. You become a honey badger, and this is really important. And that's something we've been working on a lot, is like choosing to just persist through it, like no matter what happens, and to just remain humble to the path. And yeah, like again, like if God brings down the hammer on your life,
no move.
Don't get in the way of it, you know, just let God shape you. And yeah, like to know that you're never alone. You have all the support of this whole community, you know, and Jeff and Shaleia's body of work and God. You know, you always have God. God is with you. And that's something that in like some of the classes, the TFAS classes, the Cave of Fear ones, they say, Jeff says, like when you're going through your Cave of Fear moments, like maybe you don't even feel like God is with you, but you have your faith, you know, like you walk yourself through those times, like you are responsible for getting yourself through it. But you have to remember like who you are and that you're a divine being and it's safe.
Yeah, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So giving up is not an option,
Mm-hmm.
and you can look at it, you don't get anything. All that you want is moving forward. All that you want is actually in the other side. So might as well cross it and get what you want. And it doesn't matter how much it takes or how difficult it looks. It is your desire. It is the thing that you really want with all your being. And it's the only thing that is going to satisfy you.
Yeah.
It's the divine. It's to find perfection, to find love in there.
Yeah. And like it's your divine inheritance, to be with God. And so you have to claim that by choosing to move forward.
Yeah.
And like whatever challenges are coming up in your life right now are your soul's lessons, and they can't be avoided, So I find comfort in that. Like you can't avoid this challenge. So you should just move through it. Just do it, and
that means that you cannot escape love.
Yeah, you can't escape love. You have to love yourself here sooner or later.
Yeah.
And I am starting to really appreciate that feeling of being challenged, being really pushed to grow. And there's a class where Shaleia shares about a dream that she had where she was like in a competition with three other women, or a couple of other women who were really qualified, like all of them were qualified, and they were pushing each other to, really claim that position. And Shaleia shared about in her dream that she felt like, oh, I'm going to get this position. I'm going to be the one, and she felt really grateful for that challenge and for the other women. And it just inspired me. I was like, you know what? I like that feeling too.
Yeah.
Like feeling really challenged and knowing that you're being really carved out and shaped, and you're being like, God is really molding you. And that's a good feeling, even though don't focus on what's leaving, focus on the love that's being brought in.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's okay to let the ego dissolve and not listen to it when it tries to hold on to you, because you are not the ego.
Exactly.
You're divine.
Perfect.
Do you feel complete?
Yeah, I feel complete.
Me too.
So yeah, I think we can move to the closing prayer and the closing Oms, so you can follow along. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart, where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you.
I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen. Speaking this prayer in your heart means that you have accepted you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator.
And now, the closing Oms. Thank you so much for joining. We will see you next time. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hello again, everybody, and thank you for joining us. And so I hope that you enjoyed the sermon from Jose and Michaela on the topic of persistence and how that helps to guarantee your success. And for me, the thing that really stood out was that, persistence doesn't feel like a heavy energy. It just kind of feels like consistency in your journey, consistency in approaching your challenges and your life in a way that allows you to heal at a deeper level and grow your confidence and grow your trust in yourself. And so I hope that you received that and more from Jose and Michaela's sermon. I'd also like to invite you to visit our unionism.org page, where you will find all our past sermons, music, meditations, and card readings. You will also be able to donate or tithe to contribute to the Church of Union's message to the world. We'd also like to invite you to like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel, where you will find all our past Sunday services. You will also find any other live conversations that have happened in our Unionism Spiritual Discussion group on Facebook. I'd also like to invite you to join us in our after-church tea time, which is a discussion by a panel of unionists on what they have learned and taken away from today's sermon. And we do appreciate you joining us, and we do look forward to seeing you again soon. And do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again.